Hello everyone, Xeno What If here. To bring in part 4 of What If Jaune arc was the betrayed and became clone Commando. Link down in the description of the fanfiction of this, What If. Listen here YouTube. I do not own anything and this isn't a scam. Chapter 10. Once Wolf, Gree, Blake, and Gira stepped out of the house, they head to the cruiser where they were met with the squad that is on protection duty. Gree, Buzz, DRAA. Wolf, Sinker, Boost. The 4 clones that were called jogged to their respective commanders. Buzz is equipped with a Z6 rotary cannon, Sinker and DRAA have the DC-15 and Boost has the DC-15 rifle. Gree, take your squads and form a perimeter around us, you're all protection duty until we reach the throne room. Clones, yes sir. Wolf, Sinker is Comet on standby for reinforcements. Sinker, yes sir. Wolf, good, if things go sour we need all the manpower we can get, who knows who among the White Fang are still in league with Taurus. Gree, he's right, Blake lead the way. Blake nods as both her and Gira led the clones to Sienna's throne room. The group that is protecting them are a squad of 6 clones from each unit, all of them formed a circle around them. They're keeping a close watch and are searching for any movement that could be a threat. Wolfpack clone, man, these Faunus have been staring at us ever since we got here. Boost, nothing we can do there, they think we're Atlas or something. 41st clone, really? I don't want to be associated by those guys. You've seen the gear right? Those AKs look like scrap metal compared to the droids. DRAA, yeah those battle droids can take out the Atlas AKs with ease. Buzz, and they'll no doubt claim sooner or later that they're the most technological city in the galaxy. Boost, which is a big lie. Suddenly Wolf did a hand signal that made all the clones stop. Blake, wait, what's wrong? Wolf, shish. Wolf brings out his DC-17 and observes his surroundings as the clones follow. They observe the roofs and trees as Wolf gestures Boost to shoot the tree. He nods and fires, when all of a sudden a figure jumped out of it, but Wolf was quick to fire at the hostile as they fall to the ground. Wolf, restrain them. The clones nod and went up to the hostile and began to cuff them. Blake and Gira went to see who this person is and Blake recognized her. Blake, Elia, Sinker, you know this person. Blake, I used to, she's a part of the White Fang. Gree, then if she's here watching us, then no doubt there would be trouble once we get to the throne. Wolf, I'll contact Comet to get the reinforcements. Gira, surely we can avoid bloodshed here. Wolf, we can try, we'll only stun them but if worse comes to worse, we'll switch to live rounds. Gira, sized very well then, but I think it's time to move before more of them show up. They quickly rushed to the White Fang's throne room, the clones made sure they weren't followed and surveyed the area. Once it's clear, they head in. When they entered they were greeted by Sienna and the Albane brothers. Sienna, Gira, I didn't expect you to come here unannounced and it seems you brought your daughter with you, as well as these Atlas soldiers. Gira, they're not Atlas. Sienna, not Atlas, you say. Then who are these people? Gree, I am Commander Gree and this is Commander Wolf, we are clone troopers of the Grand Army of the Republic. Sienna, clones, you say. Corsac, and what is this Galactic Republic you speak of? How come we never heard of something like this? Wolf, that's because we are not from Remnant. As Wolf shows a hologram of the entire galaxy. Wolf, this is where we came from, a galaxy filled with numerous life in the different systems. Sienna, I see. Fennec, you can't possibly think we'll believe this. Corsac, indeed, no one in Remnant has the capabilities to even travel outside of our home. How would we believe that you even came from this galaxy you speak of? Gree, we don't expect you to believe in what we said, but I know Sienna will believe this. Gree nods as Gira walks up to Sienna and gave her a datapad. Sienna, what is this? Gira, evidence of what the White Fang has been doing under your nose Sienna. We even have statements from all the White Fang these men have captured and they gave a lot of info that will have you kicked out of the White Fang for sure. Sienna, what is this? I never approved of this, any of this. Where is Taurus now? Gree, in a cell in one of our ships. Don't worry he won't be getting out of there in a long time. Corsac, how can we be so sure that this evidence is real and not fake? Wolf, you can ask every single person in Vale, whether they are human and Faunus and they'll tell you the same thing. Gira, the people of Vale want your head. Sienna, the White Fang did a lot of damage to the kingdom of Vale and no doubt they want you to suffer the consequences. Sienna, but I never wanted this. This was all Adam's doing. Wolf, really now, then explain why this Faunus was spying on us on our way to the throne room. As the clones bring in a restrained Elia. Sienna, Elia, what is going on? Who tasked you to do this? Elia, Sienna, Elia, answer me. Blake, Elia, Adam is in prison. There's no point in not saying the truth. You can't fight this battle, the clones will easily defeat you. Elia, you're a traitor. Blake, leaving the White Fang, you don't deserve to be here. Blake, you would never understand, none of you will never understand what Adam has become. If you do, then you'll understand why I needed to leave the White Fang. Elia looks at Blake, then at everyone else. She hates it. She believes what Adam is doing for the White Fang was the right step for their people, but right now, she doesn't know what to believe in anymore. Elia, very well then, it was. All of a sudden Elia was beheaded when all clones aimed their blasters at the target and they see the Albane brothers. Fennec aims his weapon at them while Corsac has Sienna hostage. Sienna, Corsac, Fennec, what are you doing? Corsac, tying up loose ends. Gira, Corsac, Fennec, don't. The clones have you surrounded, release Sienna and lay down your weapons. We'll solve these things without unnecessary bloodshed. Fennec, who says that we were surrounded? As the White Fang that allied themselves with the Albane brothers surround the group. All the clones are on guard and are waiting for the order to fire. Sinker, boss, what's the call? Wolf, wait for my signal. Corsac, you know when you mentioned an entire galaxy filled with different life. It made me think, what if the Faunus are the most superior race in the galaxy? Wolf realizes what these two morons are thinking of. Wolf, if you plan on exterminating life all around the galaxy then you are a fool. Fennec, really now, from what we can see with your technology, no doubt we'll use it to take over the galaxy. Gree, if you try this, then all you will see is the galaxy hating your kind and wanting your extinction. Corsac, then we'll just destroy them all. Boost, what a bunch of delusional freaks. Buzz, Commander, can't we just blast these idiots? They're getting annoying. Gree, wait for the signal. Corsac, I tire of this pointless chatter, now it's time we finish this. Wolf, I don't think so. Comet, now. The halls of the throne room were broken into as Comet and squad of Wolfpack troopers in jetpacks have arrived and began engaging the White Fang. Corsac was about to execute Sienna, but Wolf was fast enough and shot the weapon off of Corsac and Fennec. Gree went in and tackled Fennec to the ground while Sienna elbows Corsac in the face and quickly runs off the clones. Wolf, we need to get out here. Belladonna, take your daughter and head to the gunships. The rest of the reinforcements should be here. Gira, right, come on Blake, let's go. As Gira and Blake run off to the exit, they were stopped when they saw a bunch of White Fang blocking the door, but Buzz rushes in and mows them down with the Z6 rotary cannon, and DRAA decided to use the RPS-6 rocket launcher and fires at them. The explosion caused some of them to be sent flying outside. Gira and Blake were met with the sight of clones engaging the White Fang that are loyal to the Albane brothers. They see the clone commander rushing in with his troopers. Trauma, get them. Trauma and his forces push forward and force the White Fang to retreat, as ATRTs appear and began to swarm them. Comet then appears in front of Gira and Blake. Comet, Gira, Belladonna, we need you to head in the gunship now. It's not safe here, more and more White Fang are heading their way here. Your wife is in the gunship and is safe. Gira, and what of Sienna? Comet, Boost and Sinker are bringing her out here, but the Albane brothers are escaping and we have our forces chasing after them. In one of the alleyways of Menagerie, the Albane brothers quickly sprint their way out of there as they can hear the sounds of the clones chasing after them. Wolf, I need a squad to intercept them now. Clone, don't worry Commander, we already have one on site. As the Albane brothers continue running, when all of a sudden something hit them, causing both brothers fall to the ground. They wonder what that was as they look up to see a clone standing in front of them. Faye, why, hello there. Corsac was about to stand up, but Faye shoots him in the legs, preventing him from standing up as Corsac screams in pain. Faye, I wouldn't do that, if I were you. As Faye points his blaster at Fennec. Just then Wolf and the Wolfpack arrived. Wolf, so glad you could join us Faye. Faye, was Luxie, I got here just in time. Wolf, indeed. As the wolf pack began restraining the Albane brothers. Faye, come on, let's head back, no doubt our boys have dealt with the mess these two idiots brought. The clones alongside the restrained Albane brothers head to the main area where they see the clones have captured all the White Fang and are leading them to one area. They could see the dead bodies of the grunts and some clones are being checked for injuries. Wolf, Comet, give me the report of the situation. Comet, we were able to eliminate all of the White Fang loyal to the Albane brothers. Some have surrendered and some have fled. We have squads searching for them and bringing them in. Wolf, and what of Sienna and the Belladonnas? Comet, safe in one of the areas where the gunships have landed. Commander Trauma is securing the perimeter. Wolf nods as they head to where Sienna and the Belladonnas, and once they see the clones, they went up to them. Blake, were you able to capture them? Faye, yup. As Faye alongside a couple of Wolfpack clones brought the Albane brothers to the ground. Sienna, these two will answer for their crimes. Gira, the same goes for Taurus. With the evidence the clones gave us, this will no doubt change the White Fang, maybe revert it back to what it was once. Sienna, sighs, if it helps with our cause, then so be it. The methods we do now will not give Faunus equality. Wolf, I think we can come to an agreement here. As Wolf called the commanders, as Gree, Trauma, and Faye all gathered around. Wolf, alright, Gree, send the rest of the 41st to assist with operations, I will do the same with mine. Trauma, Faye, secure the entire land and make sure no trace of the White Fang are left. Now let's move and get these cans loaded. The clones all ran off as the cruisers finally make their landing in Menagerie as the ramps open and the people of Menagerie see multiple clones and machines carrying supplies to the land. Wolf can be seen talking to both Sienna and Gira with Blake following behind. Wolf, the 41st and 104th will assist with relief efforts for the people of Menagerie. Once we're done here we'll deal with the extermination of the Grim Horde in the Iceland. Sienna, and you have the power to take them all out. Wolf, we do. Then one of the clones rushes to Wolf. Wolfpack clone, sir, we got some of the populace that refuse our help. We tried reasoning with them but they think we're Atlas and this is some sort of an invasion. Sienna, I'll go, with me there. No doubt the people will believe you are here to help. Gira, I will join you as well. The clone nods and began leading the two to the crowd of Faunus. Meanwhile Wolf is left with Blake. Blake, so what happens now? Wolf, you'll stay here and help your father and Sienna with dealing with what's left of the White Fang. With all of the conspirators gone, it's best we change things from here on out. Blake nods but has one question in mind. Blake, Commander, do you happen to know where Jaune is? Wolf, the general, well, reports said he's heading to Argus right now. I believe his family is there and he wants to meet them. Blake, I thought he was disowned. Wolf, from what I heard his mother divorced his father and took his sisters to Argus. So the general is using the chance to see them. Blake, I see, so where are the rest of the clones? All scattered around Remnant. Wolf, yup, the general has a spread all over Remnant. With this we'll have the men free all the Faunus in the SDC mines. We even have a few squads dealing with other threats in the Four Kingdoms, and let's just say the squad he sent in Vacuo will annihilate those bandits. Blake, and who did Jaune send to Vacuo? Wolf gives Blake a smirk. Wolf, base 407. Meanwhile back in Beacon, Ozpin watches from his office the Republic cruisers all patrolling the academy and the city. Majority of the clones left the academy and decided to guard the city and MT. Glenn, only a small detachment of them stayed in the base they made in Beacon. Ozpin's thoughts were interrupted when Kiro came in through the window. Kiro, so Oz, what do you need me for anyway? Ozpin, Kiro, what have you heard regarding the Republic's occupation in the Dragon Continent? Kiro, all I heard from the talks around here was the clones saving the villagers from the Grim, White Fang, and bandits. Heard they made the entire continent their base. Ozpin, I see. Kiro then realized what Ozpin has planned. Kiro, oh hell no, Oz. I ain't sneaking my way in that base, their security ain't shit like Jimmy's. They'll know something is up. Ozpin, I'm just curious Kiro, I have no clue on what Jaune's planning and I want to know. Kiro, Ozpin, do not make an enemy out of him. He has an army and a weapon to beat Salem, you said it yourself. Ozpin, I know, but I don't trust him. Kiro, You sound like Ironwood, Oz. Ozpin. It's just one routine scout mission, Kiro, nothing else. Kiro. Fine. But if I get caught, I'm telling the kid or his clones everything you told me. Ozpin. Then let's hope you don't get captured, Kiro. Kiro just looks at Ozpin and rolls his eyes as he jumps off the window and transforms into a bird and flies off. Chapter 11. In the outskirts of Vacuo, two clones overlooking in one of the tower in the base. They are Warrant Officer Kel, who is part of the 442nd Siege Battalion, and with him is Lieutenant Riptide, a clone that wears shock trooper markings on his armor. These two are officers of the group known as Base 407, a clone refugee base. No one in the galaxy knew they existed, and clones that end up getting lost from their unit always end up there. Riptide. You know, didn't expect to see you around here. Kel. Well, just taking in the new sights, Riptide. To think the general would give us a base similar to our old home. Riptide. Well, the difference is we have better equipment and new armor. Kel. Yeah, still haven't gotten used to this Phase 2 armor. Riptide. Same can be said for every clones that died when we were still in the Phase 1 armor. Kel nods but has one question in mind. Kel. Where's Locke? Riptide. With the rest of Horn Company, after his company been brought back to life. The general reassigned him elsewhere. Kel. And here I thought the general would assign him here, after what we've been through. Riptide. General wants all our forces spread throughout Remnant, plus he knows what we are capable of. There is a reason why he assigned us to Vacuo. Kel. Anyway, what is the status on the operations team? Riptide. They're getting ready to capture the HVTs. In one of the cities in Vacuo, a squad of clones from Base 407, whom majority of them came from the Coruscant Guard, are getting ready to breach a building. They are under the command of Chaplain. Chaplain. Command, we're all set and ready to go. Back at Base 407, both Kel and Riptide are in the command center of the base alongside a couple of clones. Riptide. Copy that. With the intel we got the past few days, one of the top lieutenants of the bandit tribes are here as well as the Crown. You have full authorization to capture either of them, lethal force is approved. Chaplain. Roger that, command. Base 407 clone. Well then, looks like we're going to have some fun, boys. Viper. Shish. If you're all going to talk, get off comms. The meeting is about to start. One of the Base 407 clones, Viper, listens in on the meeting inside using a device. Then one of the Base 407 clone comms trooper patches the meeting through everyone's comms as they can hear voices. So, do you have what we need? Yes we do, we have a truck filled with kidnapped villagers all over Mistral and Vacuo. Ghislaine and Jax would be pleased, just make sure you give us the payment escalados. Carmen. Oh, don't worry, we'll make sure we provide our end of the bargain. Isn't that right, Bertilik? Bertilik. Yup, just make sure we see the villagers you kidnapped. We want to see if the amount is worth it. Don't worry, you won't be disappointed. Back at the base, Riptide had a clone search any intel regarding those two names. Base 407 clone. We have confirmation that they are enforcers for the Crown. Riptide. Good, boys, those are our guys. Go get them and don't come back if you don't have them, got it? Base 407 clone. Sure, no pressure at all. Chaplain. Alright boys, let's do this. Breach it. One of the clones places a charge in the door and sets it for breach. Chaplain. Remember boys, if anybody in that room raises a weapon you take them out. I want none of them coming out of this building alive. Base 407 clone. This is where the fun begins. Inside the building it's revealed that Crown enforcers alongside a group of bandits are all lazying around as they are all waiting for the meeting to finish, when all of a sudden the doors were blown open. Base 407, freeze. Hands up. Hands up. All the bandits and Crown enforcers looked at the clones, then immediately pulled out their weapons, but the clones immediately fired their blasters and began gunning down everyone, firing multiple shots at them. One enforcer brought out a pistol but Chaplain quickly shoots them in the face. As one clone entered the room, a bandit got the jump on him and knocked his gun to the floor. The clone then punches the bandit in the face twice, grabbed his neck and snaps it. An enforcer rushes in with their melee weapon as a clone riot trooper blocks their attack with his shield and uses his baton to knock the bandit to the floor as another clone rushes in and blasts them. The clones continue laying down fire as another clone riot trooper slowly approaches a bandit that's laying down dust rounds. The riot trooper uses his baton and hits the bandit in the legs as he falls to the ground. The clone riot trooper then raises his shield up and smashes it in the bandit's face, crushing it. One of the clones with Chaplain shoots an enforcer multiple times, then kicks him to the floor and shoots him again. As more and more clones continue to take out all the hostiles in the room. As Chaplain and all the clones reach one of the doors. Beneath the door, the enforcers and bandits all prepare their weapons. As large banging sounds can be heard, when the door explodes, sending the door flying to one of the bandits. Carmen and Bertilik alongside the bandit leader look towards the door when they heard the explosion. In the hallway, the clones all rushed in as a clone from the 187th Legion rushes in and throws a thermal detonator at the group of enemies as the entire hallway explodes. Inside the meeting room, they hear a knock at the door as the enforcer standing guard looks at the door. When it suddenly opens as he was met with a blaster in the face. The clone blasts the enforcer in the face as Carmen and Bertilik watch the body hit the ground as the clones calmly walk and surround the HVTs. Carmen: so you must be the new sheriff in town, huh? Chaplain: indeed, and you both must be one of the main lieutenants of the crown, right? But who's this? Carmen: an associate. Then the bandit stands up and aims his pistol as Chaplain draws his blaster and blasts him in the face as he falls to the ground. Chaplain: now, if you don't want to face a similar fate like him, you're coming with us. Carmen: oh really now? We'll see about that. The clones were quick enough as they brought out a blade and slash Carmen in the eye as she screams in pain. Bertilik was about to use his semblance to escape but was met with multiple blaster fire from the clones. They continue firing until they were sure he was dead. Base 407 clone: I think this guy won't be standing up anytime now. Base 407 clone: you got that right. They all went to a downed Carmen as she clutches her bleeding eyes. Carmen: what the hell is wrong with you assholes? Aren't you boys supposed to be stuck up and by the rule idiots? Chaplain: well, let's just say the boys of Base 407 do things differently. Base 407 clone: yeah, there's a reason why we were sent to clean out vacuo from scum like you. As Chaplain walks in front of Carmen and punches her, knocking her out. Back at the base, the officers watched the entire mission. Riptide: well, I called it a successful mission. Base 407 clone: yeah, but well, the general said. Riptide: now, no one died, well from our side, and that's what really matters right now. Base 407 clone: well yeah, but some of the clones won't like how we pulled this off. Riptide: well, we do things differently here if you remember, and the general made sure the other units won't interfere with how we work. Anyways, where's Sergeant Price? Base 407 clone: he just came back from patrol. Riptide: then once we got the info from our HVT, have him and K Squad scout out whatever intel we'll get from this. Base 407 clone: you got it, boss. Timeskip. The gunship arrives back at Base 407 and lands as Chaplain and the rest of the clones bring out an injured Carmen, whose eyes are being covered with a blindfold. You can see blood stains in the cloth. Kel: well, looks like you guys went all out. Chaplain: yup, we at least got the HVT. The other one would have been trouble, so we had to take them out. Kel: with this, no doubt the crown would get wind of this. Chaplain: yup, just as planned. Riptide: alright boys, we got her in the interrogation room. Let's get this done and over with. They both see Riptide walking towards them as they nod and head to the interrogation room, where they were met with Carmen, who's sitting on a chair with her hands cuffed. Carmen: so you boys are here to talk to me, huh? Well, you won't get anything out of me. Kel: really now? We'll see about that. Kel then moves closer and brings out his DC-17, he puts it on the table. Kel: heard that? That's the sound of me placing my gun on the table. You tell us everything regarding the crown or you'll end up like your friend. Riptide: in new flash, he's dead. Carmen stays silent as Kel aims the pistol on her legs. Kel: give us everything we know or I blast your knees. Carmen: look, you won't get anything from me, I'm not ratting out the crown to you boys. So no matter what tricks you have up your sleeves, you'll get nothing. Riptide: oh we know, we just needed you to bring the crown here. Carmen. What? Kel. Let's just say the only thing we needed from you was your voice. Carmen. What are you talking about? Riptide brings out a device and shows it close to Carmen as Riptide began to speak. Riptide. Here's what I mean. As Riptide spoke, the device then suddenly said what Riptide said but in Carmine's voice. Carmen on the other hand was shocked by this. Riptide. If you're wondering how we were able to do this, let's just say we used parts of a commando droid and created something similar to their vocabulators. Now we have what we need. Riptide nods at Kel as he approaches Carmen and shoots her in the face with his DC-17 pistol. Meanwhile outside the base, one of the clone officers, Sergeant Price heads to one of the barracks and meets up with K-Squad. As Price continues to walk to the barracks, he sees all the clones of Base 407 preparing the equipment and the vehicles for the plan. Then he approaches the barracks and opens the door and sees K-Squad. Price. Looks like you boys are up and running as usual. Finn. So what do we have this time, Sergeant? Another bandit tribe need to be wiped out again. Xander. Yeah, last time we barely saw some action. Hope we can get some. Johnny. Absolutely not, that last time you said that we got caught in a horde of Grim. Xander. But we took them out, right? Price. Stow it both of you, Command wants us to scout the area for any signs of the Crown. Now let's move. K-Squad. Sir, yes sir. Chapter 12. In the Crown bunker, Ghislaine destroys a table in anger as her brother Jax just watches. Jax. You know we have an army, right? We can lure these soldiers to one of the villages and ambush them. Heard from the boys that their equipment easily pierces through aura. So if we get that, then we would be unstoppable. Ghislaine. But still, we need to play our cards right. From what Carmen said, she was able to infiltrate their base and will wait for the moment when we strike. Jax. Well, let's hope so. Whoever these guys are have been taking out all our bases around the kingdom. Heard they took out the Mirage, all our enforcers didn't survive. Ghislaine. Not one. Jax. Yup, they were all slaughtered. Ghislaine. I see, As Ghislaine began thinking of something, then he thought of a plan. Ghislaine. I have an idea, Jax. Jax. What is it, Jillian? Since these soldiers are more focused in taking us out, then we'll send half of our forces, basically those that are mind-controlled, to one of the main cities of Vacuo and have them attack the place. After all, once they find out the people are mind-controlled, they need to be careful not to kill them. They'll no doubt have their hands full. Jax. Which will lead to half of their forces being sent to the city, while half of them will be in their base. Ghislaine. Carmen reported that the soldiers' numbers are few, so if we divert all of them out of their base, no doubt they won't have enough to defend against us. Jax. I see, good plan there, sister. I'll get the men ready, they won't see this coming. Ghislaine. Indeed. In the deserts of Vacuo, Sergeant Price alongside K-Squad have set up positions by the cliffside that overlooks both the kingdom of Vacuo and the wastelands. Price alongside 3 clones for K-Squad, Finn, Hops, and Charles are all perched up by the rocks in a prone position. Price. Finn, what do you got so far? Finn is looking through the Marco binoculars and sees nothing but sand. Finn. Nothing yet, just sand. Xander. I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating. And it gets everywhere. Johnny. What? Price. Hops, Charles. Both Hops AMD Charles are equipped with a Vulcan 38X as they look through their scopes. Charles. Nothing on my radar, Sergeant, deserts a ghost town. Hops. Same goes for me, Sarge. Price. Alright then, Johnny, Adam, Xander, I want you 3 to head to that rock formation and get a look around in the area. Xander. You got it, boss. Johnny. Are you sure about this, Sarge? What if there are bandits that appear out of nowhere and ambush us? Price. Then deal with it, plain and simple. Finn. Don't tell me you're scared, Johnny. Their weapons won't even kill us, the worst possible injury you can get is a stab wound and a huge dent in your armor. Johnny. It's called being cautious. Xander. Cautious, right. Price. Cut the chatter, men. Johnny, you are going down to those rocks whether you like it or not, got it? Johnny. Crystal. As the 3 clones move in down to the rocks with Price and the rest of K-Squad keeping watch. Once they got into position, they noticed something. Adam. Is it me or am I seeing footprints right now? Xander. You're not the only one. Johnny. So what, does this mean the Crown are nearby? Atom. It could just be bandits or some idiots that got lost. Come on, let's see where this leads to. As the three clones followed the trail of footsteps and they found where it leads to. When they saw it, Xander went up and brought out his macro binoculars. Xander. Sarge, we got trouble. Price. What is it? Xander. We followed a trail of footsteps and it lead to one of the city areas in Vacuo, and it's under attack. Price. Good. In the city of Vacuo, hundreds of crownsmen set fire to buildings and shops as they began causing chaos to the city. Crown Enforcer. Come on, move it, destroy the city and everything around it. As more and more crownsmen rushed towards the city, the entire city turning into flames with a few explosions happening in the background. Crown Enforcer. We have a problem, boss. Crown Enforcer. And what problem is that? Crown Enforcer. The entire city seems to be a ghost town, so far we haven't seen a single citizens in sight. Crown Enforcer. That's impossible. There has to be a citizens here somewhere, we need to the negativity to lure the grim here, unless. The Enforcer realizes what's going on and gasps in shock. He was about to call off the attack when all of a sudden, multiple smoke grenades were thrown to the ground as the entire city was engulfed with smoke. The Crown Enforcer was panicking and ordered all the enforcers to get out of the city and to leave the mind-controlled people to the clones. As they continue running, they see multiple shots fly out all over the city as the mind-controlled people all fall to the ground. The enforcers had a good look at the clones and were scared shitless once they aimed their guns at them. They were face to face with the 327th Star Corps. 327th clone. Hostiles inbound. 327th clone. Take them out. Commander Bly appears and aims his DC-15 rifle at them. Bly. Stun the ones that are mind-controlled, the ones who are not. You are authorized to use deadly force. 327th clones. Sir, yes sir. The 327th then began firing both blaster bolts and stun rounds as the Crown Enforcers continue running out of the city. Crown Enforcer. Hurry up, we need to get out of here or we're dead. The enforcers continue running when all of a sudden he was knocked down to the floor. He looks up to see what happened and nearly shit his pants when he saw what was in front of him. Fordo. Let's get to business, boys. Back at base 407, numerous clones are on the watchtowers as Kel alongside Chaplin are looking through their macro binoculars. Chaplin. So what's the report? Kel. K-Squad informed me the attack on the village has begun. Commander Bly and Captain Fordo and their forces have engaged the enemy. Chaplin. And how's that going so far? Back at the city, Fordo takes out two enforcers then sees an army of crownsmen running towards him as he brought out his DC-17 pistol set for stun and stuns them. He kicks one away, grabs his DC-15 rifle and began smacking them with it. Then he starts delivering spin kicks towards the enforcers. He continues firing both blaster and stun shots and is not stopping as more and more crownsmen swarm him. Fordo cracks his neck and brings out his dual DC-17 pistols and charges at them. He fires one stun round then proceeds to smack his pistols in their faces, knocking them out. As he continues firing stun rounds and knocking them out to the ground, he reaches the last crownsman and brings out his DC-15 carbine and fires one good stun round. Kel. Knowing Captain Fordo, this mission is all too easy for him. Chaplin. Yup. Then they see the gunship that K-Squad is in has arrived. They look towards the gunship and see Sergeant Price head out of the gunship in a rush. Price. Crown Army is heading this way. Kel. Get the men ready and sound the alarm. All units battle stations. In the base, all clones head out to the hangar bay as the gates were opened and all the clones set up fortified positions. The rest of the clones began running into their positions as they set up the turrets and the cannons. While the rest of the clones ready their blasters and wait for their enemies to arrive. In one of the areas where the main cannons are, a clone gunner looks through his binoculars to see if the enemy forces are in view. Then as he looked at his surroundings he sees the Crown in view. He sees Jax sitting on a palanquin that is being carried by a bunch of Crown enforcers as his lieutenants stand by his side and their army right behind him. Clone gunner. Contact. Load shot. The clone in the back of the cannon loads the shot. Clone gunner. Shot loaded. Clone gunner. 223. The clone gunner manning the cannons places the coordinates in the console. Clone gunner. 223. Clone gunner. Elevation 121. The clone inputs the coordinates. Clone gunner, 121. Clone gunner, fire. Clone gunner, on the way. Meanwhile with the crown, Jax got a good look at base 407 and just laughs. Jax, really? To think I got so worked up over a small base like this. Ghislaine, indeed, brother. Rosa, what are our orders? Jax, it's plain and simple. Attack. Before the crown enforcers all charge at the base, the shot from the cannon makes direct contact with the crown's forces and blasts a few of them into pieces. Jax, what? Clone gunner, good hit. Reload. Clone gunner, reloading. Outside the base, the clone mortar unit readies the mortars as they set them up. One of the clones, Flinder, gives off the signal. Base 407 clone, light em up. The clone mortar unit loads up the rounds as they shot out to the sky. They hit the charging crown soldiers, but they don't stop and continue pressing onto the base. Clone gunner, fire. The cannon fires and hits a large group of crown enforcers, taking them all out. Clone gunner, good effect on target. Multiple Kia. Both the clone mortar units and the cannons continue laying down rounds as multiple explosions engulfed the desert. More and more crown enforcers got hit and were taken out so easily. Jax and Jillian alongside their other enforcers were shocked on how the first wave was taken out so easily. Rosa, that was impressive. Jax, AHHRRGHH. Jax smacks Rosa to the ground in anger. Argento, what now? Jax, we send everyone. And I mean everyone. I want their heads. Jillian nods as she raises her weapon and yelled out to the rest of the crown enforcers. Jillian, charge. Meanwhile on top of the watchtower, Kel looks through his Marco binoculars and sees the rest of the crown's army is charging forward. Kel, all units open fire. The crown is sending their entire army. Outside the crown charges forward as the clones of base 407 opens fire at them as one by one the crown enforcers fall to the ground, the entire desert being rained on with blue blaster bolts. On top of one of the platforms, a clone sharpshooter that goes by the name Demon, aims his Vakan 38X and snipes a bunch of crown enforcers in the head. The battle rages on as the clones continue to lay down fire, with multiple clones stationed on the E-web and began laying down heavy fire. Some crown enforcers were able to use their semblances and got in the base but were dealt with as clones began fighting the enforcers in close quarters combat. Multiple squads continue laying down fire from their positions as the crown were able to push forward. Crown enforcer, for the crown. Riptide. Detonators now. The clones provide covering fire as some clones rushed forward and threw thermal detonators while the crown throws dust grenades. The detonators has good effect while the dust grenades only gave them a scratch and made them dazed a bit. The clones continued firing from different positions such as crates, vehicles, gunships, and even in the towers. A group of crown enforcers made their way to the tower and attacked the clones. The clones retaliated back by taking them out and kicking them off the tower. As the battle continues, two clone jet troopers see a small group of crown enforcers heading to the base as the two nod and blast off. Once they were in reach of the enforcers, they brought out their DC-17 pistol and began firing at them. The enforcers were surprised and tried to fire at them, but they responded back with thermal detonators. Chaplin, armed with his dual DC-17 pistols, continues firing and taking out crown enforcers. Chaplin, push them back. One enforcer uses a spring semblance to jump in the base but was stabbed in the head by a clone commando that is part of base 407. K-Squad is in one area of the base as Xander, using the Z6 rotary cannon, lays down fire. Riptide. The crown sure are determined, after they lost majority of their forces in the first wave. No doubt their leader ain't liking this one bit. Price. You got that right. What's the situation on our other plan? Kel. We'll know it when we see it. Inside the base, one of the crown enforcers, Rosa, Argento, and Umber were able to sneak in the base when the clones are too busy fighting outside. They watch as the clones inside the base all went out. Rosa, come on, let's move. Carmine's position should be close. Argento, let's hope whatever intel she has can help us win this battle. Umber, you got that right, just by hearing the battle outside it sounds like we're losing. Rosa, then let's get a move on. The three crown enforcers quietly move into Carmine's position as they watch one clone exit the room, and there, they made their move. They entered an interrogation room, and found Carmen tied to the chair facing the other way with a sack on her head. Rosa, Argento, get Carmen out of there and let's get out of here. As Argento moves towards Carmen, he tries to wake up Carmen but she isn't responding. He tries to hit her but nothing, so he decides to remove the sack to see what's up, but it's now revealed that Carmen is dead and that the clone strapped a bomb in her mouth. Argento, oh she. Boom. Outside, Riptide, Kel, and Price see the explosion in the base. Kel, looks like the plan worked. Riptide, I already sent a team there to eliminate any remaining survivors. Kel, good. Now our main priority is pushing the rest of the Crown back. The clones now push forward as more and more of the Crown enforcers are getting killed. Base 407 clone, grenade, get down. The clone throws a grenade and blows a group of enforcers. The clones rushed them and began blasting the downed enforcers. Price, the others informed me that they eliminated the hostiles inside the base and the east and west gates are secured. Kel, then it's time to close the main gate. As Kel contacts command. Kel, control come in, close the main gate now. Inside the base, one of the clone officers in charge receives the order. Base 407 officer, close the main gate. The clones watch as the gate began closing. Price, covering fire. All the clones began moving in the gate and began laying down fire. One clone brought out a RPS-6 rocket launcher and fired a shot, blasting a group of them into pieces. The clones continue firing but they didn't see one enforcer moving in on them but was blasted in the head by Demon. Two clones of the 798th Flame Corps brought out the BTX-42 flamethrower and began releasing an enormous amount of flames at the enforcers as they scream in pain. One clone was about to fire but he was stopped. Base 407, don't waste your blaster bolts on them, let them burn. As the gate nearly closes, the rest of the Crown are running out of there. One unlucky enforcer got shot in the knee and falls in the gate. He sees the gate is going to crush him and tries to crawl his way out of there. A clone, Sharktooth, sees the crawling enforcer and didn't bother to finish him off but merely gave him a salute as he got crushed. Back with the Crown, Ghislaine and Jax were furious at this battle. They watch as the clones in the tower eliminate the enforcers that were running until none are left. Jillian, damn it, we lost all our men in this battle. Jax, can you make contact with Rosa and the others? Jax, no, but my hunch that explosion I saw in their base was them. So most likely, they're dead. Jillian, damn it. And we got word that all the enforcers we sent in the city are dead and these soldiers were able to subdue all our mind-controlled soldiers. Jax, then we need to leave and head back to the bunker. We will have to re-strategize and think of new ways to deal with this nuisance. Jillian, indeed, brother. Really now. From where I'm standing I don't think you have time for any of that cause the only thing that's walking out of here are your corpses. As both Jillian and Jax turn around and were met with Frodo and his unit alongside Bly and squad of 327th troopers. Bly, I'm going to take a page out of Base 407's book and will make sure none of you get out of here alive. Jax, oh, we'll see about that. Jax wasn't able to finish as Bly fires a shot with his DC-15 rifle as the clones began firing multiple blaster bolts at both Jillian and Jax and the remaining Crown enforcers. They continued firing as they are on the ground to make sure they won't be